Good evening. Welcome to the Graduate Exhibition Musical Performances. I'm Levon Esters, and I'm the Vice Provost of Graduate Education and Dean of the Graduate School. Tonight, we are very proud to showcase Penn State graduate students who, as performing artists, will not only entertain you, but we hope will also inspire you. Graduate students' creative accomplishments serve as tangible evidence of the value and impact of graduate education, and their work contributes to the advancement of knowledge and the enrichment of our academic community. I want to express my appreciation to everyone joining us in person or those of you joining the live stream during our annual graduate exhibition. I also extend sincere thanks to the College of Arts and Architecture and School of Music for hosting this evening's musical performances. I would also like to take a moment to recognize our panel of judges who have volunteered their time this evening to evaluate the performances. Would our judges please stand? Please join me in thanking our panelists. Before the performances begin, I would like to introduce Dr. Susan Loeb, Professor of Nursing and Medicine and Chair of the Graduate Exhibition Committee, who has some important information about the performances and format for the evening to share. Dr. Loeb.
Thank you, Dean Esters. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Graduate Exhibition Committee, I thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight, each performer will introduce themselves and provide a brief summary of the work that they are going to present. The Graduate Exhibition Committee views this introductory presentation as an essential part of the performance. In keeping with the Graduate Exhibition's special emphasis on clear and concise communication to a general audience. After the last performance of the evening, we'll invite all of our performers to return to the stage for a final applause. The names of the winners and recipients of all Graduate Exhibition categories will be announced both through the Graduate School website and the Penn State News. Finally, so that we can all enjoy our performances, please be sure that your mobile devices are turned off or placed in silent mode. Now I would like to welcome our first participant to the stage, and to you all, enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Yanjun Huang, and I'm the first-year DMA student here and majoring in piano. Today, I'm going to present the Samuel Barber's Nocturne, Opus 33. Samuel Barber is one of the most celebrated American composers in the mid-20th century. He embraced the 19th century Romantic heritage and the 20th century compositional technique, showcase his uniqueness. His Nocturne, Opus 33, was written in 1959 and subtitled Homage to John Field. The Nocturne is kind of night piece which invented by Irish composer John Field in early 19th century. As follows, Frédéric Chopin made this genre more well-known. In the 20th century, there are a small number of composers like Aaron Copland, George Crumb, continued to explore this genre, and Samuel Barber's interpretation stands out among his contemporaries. As James Farley describes Barber's piano music, it reflects a synthesis of tonality with atonality, diatonicism with chromaticism, and antiquity with modernism. In this piece, the left hand features arpeggiated accompaniment, while the right hand breaks the tonal center, introducing the serialism technique. So even though Barber's modernist scope is evident in his study of Schoenberg and the serial technique. The tonality still hints at an undertone, revealing certain flexibility. As a result, this composition can hardly be considered atonal music. Furthermore, the composer's intention of blending elements evokes distinguished beauty. The detailed instruction of the dynamic marking in both hands shapes the interactions between the two hands. The subtle change of texture and aria-like melody not only provide opportunities for the performers to explore their variety of techniques and timbre, but also offer room for their personal expression. In a way, the composer bridged the modern and antique, combining atonal and romantic lyrical elements, and most importantly, bring out a fresh experience for contemporary listeners who are fascinated with the old sensual pleasure. Hope you all enjoy.
Good evening. I have the pleasure to present and perform today Toccata for Piano by Emma Ludimer. She is an American composer born in 1927 in Kansas City, Missouri. She started playing piano and performing small piano pieces since she was very little. Her reputation has been obtained not only by her contribution to contemporary music, but also by her educational and career-related achievement. As an educator, Ludimer taught at the University of Maryland, as well as the University in California, Santa Barbara, where she contributed to the foundation of a studio for the electronic music in 1973. And in 1991, she became a professor emeritus in University of California, Santa Barbara. Ludimer composed a number of works, not only for keyboard, piano, and organ, but also numerous works for choral music, chamber music, orchestral music, music for electronic music as well. And she was highly influenced by electronic music. Such elements we will see also in Toccata for Piano. According to Claire Larue-Wachter, interview with her in 1992, Ludimer says, "Come along with minimalism having to do with playing something a certain number of times, having more repetition of an idea and trying to stretch out things so it's not constantly changing. Use the ideas of serialism in a very impressionistic, romantic way because I don't like it as a constant dissonant kind of style. I'm still most interested in writing something not too horribly complicated and not too complex. Something like the composers I like for piano, like Ravel and Poulenc." Toccata for Piano was composed in 1979 and was published the following year. It was written for a senior recital of Nozomi Takahashi, a student at the University of California. And this piece features a mixture of classical and contemporary elements. According to her notes about toccata, I quote, "Stylistically, I wanted to combine elements of early keyboard music with some 20th century innovation. The general lightness of the motifs, the repeated notes, the tightness of the melodic line, as well as the use of wider range lips were inspired by Scotti. This toccata, which in some ways shows this influence, represents more extensive technique of the 20th century, extensive technique that were used previously by Henry Cowell and John Cage." Ludimer says in an interview with Barbara Baird, "As a conventional aspect of toccata, this work is an ternary form. It also features perpetual motion of repeated notes of motifs, use of articulations and syncopations, and the extreme range of the piano. Ludimer attempts to produce various timbres playing string instead of piano keys. Hence, she employs some inside the piano techniques." So these extended techniques she uses are a few. One of them is pressing the lower range of the keyboard with the forearm and playing with the other hand the notes, which will create some overtones. Also, she employs some inside of the piano technique, so you will hear a lot of glissando in the string and some patting of the strings, as well as muting the strings and playing the same pitch with the right hand. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nicole Laborie and Joanne Yang, and I will be performing Feathers and Wax by Amanda Harburg. Amanda is a 21st century female composer who currently teaches composition at Rutgers University. She is well known for the variety of instruments for which she composes and for how she blends Western traditional elements with contemporary influence to create this very distinct style to her writing. The piece, Feathers and Wax, is based on the Greek myth of Icarus, who was held in captivity, and the story goes that his father made him wings of feathers and wax so that he could escape captivity, but warned him not to fly too close to the sun. Icarus was successfully able to escape. However, he did not listen to his father, flew too close to the sun, and ultimately this resulted in his death as he fell into the sea. So Amanda does a great job of capturing this story through two distinct elements that you can hear back and forth throughout this piece. The piece begins and ends with this very exciting jazz-like melody that is supposed to emulate the exuberance of flight and capture that excitement. And then in contrast, there is the lyrical sections that are supposed to show the turmoil that Icarus faces as he is facing hardships, flying too close to the sun, and as his wings are ultimately breaking and he dies. So thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoy.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rui Zhang. I'm a second-year doctoral student in piano performance. Today, I will play a piece, Numa Ame, by Chinese contemporary composer Zhang Zhao. So, Zhang was born in Yunnan province, which has the largest ethnic minority in China. In this piece, Zhang infused some elements from Yunnan people, such as intonations and dance-like rhythms with Western compositional techniques like the decent harmony. The reason I choose this piece is because I'm also an ethnic minority and my home city is quite closer to Yunnan province. They are all in the southwest of China. So I found some similar patterns, rhythms in this piece, and I even told my professor how touched I was when I practiced this piece alone. Now I'm going to share this wonderful music with all of you. Hope you will enjoy it.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for coming out for this performance. The piece that we will be performing is Kodai's Serenade for 2 violins and viola. There is not very much repertoire for this instrument combination. You probably have never heard this instrument combination before. A cello would make us a string quartet, replacing one of the violins with a cello would make us a standard string trio, but we're very happy to have the opportunity to perform this lesser-known repertoire tonight. Kodai was a Hungarian composer born in 1882, and he was not only a composer, he was also an ethnomusicologist and a music educator, and he actually has continued to be quite influential even into American music education as a famous pedagogue, especially for young children. So you may have learned hand signs in elementary school for do, re, mi, and so on. That's from Kodai as well. He was a close colleague of the more famous Hungarian composer Béla Bartók, and they worked together to go out into the communities in Hungary and to do field work and to learn more about the traditional music of that culture. So both of them ended up being quite inspired by that cultural influence. So you can hear some of that in this movement. We're playing the first movement. It's pretty folksy. You might want to dance along with us, and I hope you enjoy it very much. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Tim McClure, a second-year master's degree student in violin performance, and this is Annie Huang, a second-year doctoral degree student in piano performance. Tonight, we are excited to perform Rina Ismail's composition, Jula Jule.
Rina Ismail was born in 1983, and she is an Indian-American composer who blends Indian and Western classical music. Her composition, Jula Jule, is a fantasy based on two Indian folk songs. The first song is called Swing Swing, which was sung by her grandmother on her father's side, and it sounds like this. Jula Jule, Jula Jule, Lena Rani, Jula Jule. And the second song is called Darkness Without Eyes, which was recorded by her grandfather on her mother's side, and sounds like this. Wina, wina, rong re, ang kong wina, rong re.
With those deeply ancestral Indian folk songs, the instruments interact in an improvisatory way, far from traditional Western rhythmic boundaries with modern harmonic freedom. Lyrical phrases from the violin create a warm and nostalgic feeling supported by atmospheric passages from the piano.
So in this piece, Esmael bridges cultural divides by bringing her family songs into Western concert halls. Breaking into the Western classical canon from other cultural backgrounds can be very challenging, but Jonida Lazellari goes beyond such boundaries, smoothly blending cultural art forms and resonating with audiences. So I hope you all enjoy.
Good evening, everyone. Great to see so many of you here with us tonight. It's our pleasure to present music by one of the sublime geniuses of music history, Robert Schumann, who wrote a staggering number of colossal masterpieces, sometimes with the name of a town that might only be 4 letters long, the remembrance of a woman with whom he was in love, or a character from a book as his inspiration. He had numerous alter egos, what we would probably call today multiple personalities. These include the shy Eusebius and the daring Florestan. These opposing qualities form essential characteristics and interpretation of his music. The title of this set of pieces, Fantasystücke, comes from turn of 19th century German author E.T.A. Hoffmann, whose first major work was titled Fantasystücke in Callot Manière, or Fantasy Pieces in the Manner of Callot, that is, Jacques Callot, a 17th century printmaker. According to contemporary British cellist Stephen Isserlis, the 3 pieces that comprise the Fantasystücke were composed in just 2 days. For our performance tonight, we're going to play the latter 2, both in the key of A major, but with wildly different outer and middle sections. Both pieces share a sense of escapism and otherworldliness.
In a letter to his wife, Clara Wieck, Schumann says, "The realities of everyday life weigh heavily on my soul, and I find myself longing for escape, for a glimpse of something more." One of the many forms of escape from reality is through nostalgia, fleeing towards an idealized past, particularly childhood, when life was simpler and full of wonder. That can also be heard in Fantasystücke's second movement, marked as light and lively, in which the dialogue between the 2 instruments evoke an echo or a memory, and the middle section is playful and full of humor. The third movement, marked briskly and with fire, evokes themes of heroism, not only escaping but overcoming reality, with courage and lofty ideals. It evokes the literary idea of the hero's journey, embarking on epic quests, facing challenges, and triumphing in the end. These pieces reflect the ethos of romantic literature and the longing for transcendence. The lack of words preserves only the raw emotions and moods and blurs the line between dreams and reality. Journey with us through the dreamy landscapes of the Fantasystücke, second and third movements.
Hello, there we go. Hello, good evening. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. Unless you're a judge, then you kind of have no choice, but we appreciate all of the work that you are doing for the graduate exhibition. My name is Bella Scotti. I am joined by my amazing friends and colleagues, Jack Kerness, Mako Robeson, and Michael Valente. We are all first-year master's students in percussion performance, and we are very excited to perform for all of you. Jalen Patton, better known by her artist name Jalen, is one of the most up-and-coming of African-American women in the electronic music scene. Her influences are many, ranging from the electronic genre called footwork to Igor Stravinsky and Philip Glass, all of which contributes to her powerful, influential, percussion-driven soundscape that is sought after by countless collaborators. She started producing music in 2008, gaining traction in 2011 with her track Erotic Heat, and recently released her electronic album Perspective in 2023. In 2020, Jalen was commissioned by a group called the Boulanger Initiative to work with Grammy Award-winning percussion quartet Third Coast Percussion to create an entirely acoustic version of this album. This acoustic album was released in 2022. Derivative, the piece we will be performing tonight, is one of the pieces on this album. This music composition process completely flips the script on music composition as we know it. Traditionally, artists have taken acoustic instruments and turned them into electronic sounds. Through this collaboration, all electronic sounds are now reflected in physical instruments, and they had to get a little creative to get the sounds that they wanted. We have snare drums, cymbals, tambourines, all the way to squeaky toys, mixing bowls filled with water, and spring coils. This beautiful collaboration between Jalen and Third Coast Percussion made the acoustic Perspective album a finalist for the 2023 Pulitzer Prize in Music. For comparison, I will now play the beginning of Jalen's electronic version of Derivative. Gist. To quote Third Coast Percussion's website, Jalen named her piece Perspective as a reference to this unique collaborative process, that this work would exist in two forms, the same music as interpreted through different artists and their modes of expression. This transfer of electronic soundscape to live performance is an experience unlike any other for the listener. It's groovy, it's catchy, it's virtuosic, and we give you permission to dance in your seats. Thank you so much, and we hope you enjoy Derivative by Jalen.
That was a great set of performances. Wouldn't you say? Let's give them a hand again. So before we conclude the program, I invite all of our performers on stage so we can give them a final round of applause. So the performers, would you come out? So before you all exit the stage, I have a little bit more I want to read from my script, but I'm going off script, and I want to say this. I've heard, so I just started in this role May 1st of last year, so 10 months in, and since I've been here leading up to this graduate exhibition, I've heard a lot about this portion of the exhibition, the performance portion, and everyone has raved about it, and everything they said is accurate. So I really want to congratulate each of you. You all did phenomenal tonight. And so I just thank you on behalf of the entire grad school. Phenomenal work and best of luck and continued success. So thank you. So to all of our graduate students, thank you for presenting your excellent musical selections this evening. Again, they were amazing. Amazing isn't even doing it justice, to be honest. But thank you again for joining us this evening. And so everyone who had a chance to come out tonight, thank you for being here, taking time out of your day to be here with us. And so you all have a good evening and safe travels home this evening. Thank you.